Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're changing the oil and filter on our Toyota Corolla. We went up onto a block of wood and chalked the rear wheel. It is a really low car. Underneath the vehicle, you'll see these large bolts, and we're going to go for the one that's pretty much in the middle here to lift with our jack. And we're going to put our jack stands on the sides just as a precaution here. They make better attachments for the jack stand heads too. So with the vehicle properly secured, we're going to come underneath and we're going to find this door, and there are 4 bolts, or rather screws, for this. And so you'll just take these out. You can use a Phillips, or if you want, you can use a 10mm socket, also fits on them. Next, we'll pop the hood with a hood latch inside the vehicle on the driver's side. Take off the oil cap to vent the pressure. And the vehicle should be warm for this, but just not too hot, but be careful because the oil can still be really hot coming out. And the socket size here is going to be a 14mm for the oil pan. And so we're going to go ahead and break that one loose. And so what I like to also do with this is put an extension on the socket. And that way, as you're taking this out, you can hold the nut up against the oil pan so that it doesn't start dripping out entirely quick, and then just pull your hand away from it. But it also helps to do that with an extension. As an example, you can kind of put your finger like this onto the side of it, and that'll keep you from getting burned if it's really hot, because you're holding onto the side of the bolt and the extension, and that can be a good way to get that out. So careful, because it'll splash. Next, we're going to take a oil filter wrench, and so the way this works is it's just a belt that goes on here, and you snug it up, and then you go counterclockwise, so make sure you're looking at the direction that the filter is actually screwing on, because you're actually looking at it from the back side here. Now again, be careful because the oil will be hot, and if your oil pan is big enough, you can do both of these at the same time. As you take the filter off, more will come out of the drain plug. We're going to clean our surface here and make sure there's no gasket that's left behind. On our new filter, we're touching it head to head with the old one. That will also put some oil on it and lubricate it up. Now we're going to spin our new filter on, and we're turning this clockwise, and you want to make sure that you can spin it by hand very freely like this so it's not cross-threading. And we're going to tighten this down hand tight, so don't put the wrench back on it. Just make sure it's nice and snug. We're next going to remove the little gasket here, a little washer that goes on the oil pan. Ours was stuck on there pretty tight, and we put a new one on the drain plug. So after letting it drain completely, it took about 15-20 minutes. We put our new one on, and we tightened this down to 22 foot-pounds, which would be about 260 inch-pounds if you have an inch-pound one. So don't over-tighten that. You don't want to break it off. But we'll make sure that that's snug. And now we're bringing in our oil. This one calls for 0W16, 5 quarts. It calls for 4.9 quarts. By the time you dump this all the way in and set the jug down empty, it'll still have a little bit left over. But 4.9 quarts is what it says. We went ahead and put the cap back on and started the vehicle and checked for leaks to make sure that everything's sealed properly. And once we verified that everything was good and no leaks, we went ahead and put our skid plate back on. Okay, so it's just the 4 screws, and be very careful with these. They don't go on very tight. Don't put them on with an impact gun or anything, or you'll just break right through the plastic, but make sure that those 4 are nice and snug. Okay, now we made sure that we have our wood under our wheel too. As we set this back down, remove the wheel chock, removed the jacks out of the way, and checked our oil level. After we wiped it off and put it in and checked it again, and everything was good. It was right on the level that it should be. Now to reset the timer, we'll be using these arrow keys with the OK button. And so we're going to just use the arrow keys to scroll over. So I'll show you what this looks like here as we zoom in. We're going to go over to our vehicle settings, and then right here we're going to click on it and hold the OK button down. Then it's going to go down to our scheduled maintenance, and it asks us if we want to reset that, and then we're good to go. So thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks, guys.